He says the Bush administration used propaganda to sell the war in Iraq. And now a highly critical new book from President Bush's former press secretary, Scott McClellan, is drawing a sharp reaction from White House officials and loyalists. Carol Costello is looking into this story for us. It's not necessarily the first time that an aide has slammed a former boss, but this one seems to really sting.
It does sting, and it's probably because Scott McClellan seems like such an easygoing, loyal guy. I mean, take a look at the picture of him. Doesn't he look easygoing, loyal, like he'd never write such a spicy book? But then again, he's not the only Bush administration insider to spill the beans.
It appeared to be beautiful as a relationship made in the world of politics can be. That's Scott McClellan on his last day as White House spokesman.
Mr. President, it has been an extraordinary honor and privilege to have served you for more than 7 years now.
Now it's safe to say McClellan has burned that bridge and incinerated many more. His book, What Happened, is a scathing account of the Bush administration's policies. So negative, the president's news spokesperson, Dana Perino, says, we're puzzled. Ari Fleischer, who was McClellan's boss at the White House, says passages in the book don't sound like Scott. Others weren't so kind. Former Bush Homeland Security Advisor Fran Townsend says McClellan's book is, well, ill-timed.
For him to do this now, frankly, strikes me as self-serving, disingenuous, and unprofessional.
The conservative blog Red State said, what a scumbag. And Rush Limbaugh called him another Republican turncoat.
He'll throw anybody under the bus, even their own grandmothers, to have a seat of power with the libs, get their approval. Not just Scott McClellan is the worst example of it lately.
Unflattering kiss and tells about the Bush administration are a dime a dozen. Spilling the beans, former Treasury Secretary Paul O'Neill, former Iraq envoy Paul Bremer, and former senior economic advisor Larry Lindsey. From a psychological standpoint, that's not surprising. Analysts say the Bush administration demanded loyalty and suppressed dissent. A perfect recipe for rebellion.
When you see someone commit what appears to be an act of revenge and do it in a potentially very self-destructive way, you have to wonder about the guilt that they feel, right? Because they're asking for punishment, in a sense.
And Scott McClellan is certainly feeling a backlash, but ethicists look at it another way.
There is no statute of limitations on telling the truth. And he may be alienating people, but he may very well feel that and perhaps justifiably so, that it's more important to be truthful and to let the American people know what was actually happening.
Of course, only Scott McClellan can explain why he wrote this book, and we will likely hear his answer soon. He's just about to hit the interview circuit to promote his book.